Hello, hello. All right. I think what I'm gonna do is actually stick to a schedule for streaming. Kind of forces me to do it earlier than I usually do, but probably a good thing. What do we got on the agenda for today? Pull that up. Oh, looks like we're just going through our abilities and fixing some things. And also adding passives. Important as well. Excuse me. Got a little bit of a sore throat today. Nothing crazy though. Alright, so I noticed a couple bugs in our lobby area, so I'm gonna go in and fix those real quick because I think those won't be too bad. This is the first one. So that works. Cool. But we still have the cursor, and our camera position is pretty bad. I think that is due to our controller. This one, I think. Yeah, so right here actually, probably where it's running into problems. I think, honestly, what I'm going to do is for this like relative location, instead of coming back here and like hard coding this shit every single time that I make a change to the camera position on the character, I think what I'm going to have happen is we're just going to create a member variable that stores the camera position in begin play. Just call it default camera location. Camera comp get relative location. Yeah, I don't know why my Visual Studio is so far behind. It might be get component location. We'll give it a second to catch up. And I do not know why I feel so tired today. Honestly, it feels like I slept too much. Alright, so here, I'm gonna replace that with this. There's another bug too where our cursor's still visible, and I believe on the other widget table that we have, our character's not even actually going back to its skeletal mesh. Holy shit. Man, I just feel off. Feels like I got a brain fog or something, but we're just getting into the swing of things. Yeah, okay, we're good there. What we need to do now is just make it so our character actually disables the mouse cursor. This is probably another class I have to go back and actually do some changes to. It's actually pretty weird. Maybe it's something on our character itself. I thought I put it in the controller class, but it might be part of like the interaction system. Oh, is that it? Toggle interaction? Yeah, here it is. So all we need to do here is actually just disable the mouse cursor. I just see two different versions of this. We are overriding it here. And that's why it's not doing shit. We're not actually calling super here. That widget hidden is this. Oh, okay, I can see why we actually kind of weird how I have this set. I mean, I guess it makes sense at the end of the day. That should resolve that problem now. This cursor is still visible. Oh, that's because live coding hasn't finished. Yeah, alright. Okay. Now we should be good. Oh. This now where we go in and figure out why the fuck it's not. Disable mouse cursor. This is why right here. Yeah, because this is a different player controller that it's looking for. Oh, but hold on, if that's the case, how is this enabling the mouse cursor in the first place? Is it from switch menu state? Yeah, it is. Okay, so I mean, what we're going to do then is just grab the functions from our other controller and just move them over. And it'd be good. So these guys right here, and do just a little bit of copying and pasting, a little bit. Do I feel like going and just reparenting classes just for 2 functions? Not really. That's why we're taking the easy way out. I believe this is the same as this shit, no? Yep. All right, so now in stop interact, we're going to reset the camera and also give the player back their mouse cursor, or like disable it so they can move around. Man, I need to fucking wake up today. Alright. Now, interacting with either table should allow us to use it, and then we regain control. And the mouse cursor should not be there. So all that's working. Nice. Nice. What we also need to do is we also need to have like some text or something pop up that shows that this thing's interactable. So there's a couple ways to do that. We could, in theory, have it to where when we're highlighting this thing, there's like an outline, or there would be like an outline around like the ball. And we could also add like text underneath of it, or we could create like a plane that sits on the back that's translucent, that just lights up text saying like press F to interact or something like that. So how do I want to do it? I think outlining is probably like the easiest thing, but we definitely need some like text. Go to our base UI table. This is where we're going to add the function here. Yo, what's up? I messaged you on Discord about the map size thing. I don't know if you saw that message, but you were on the money about that. As soon as I changed like the scale of the map, definitely felt a lot better. But yeah, I upped it by about like 20-25% or so, I believe. Nice, yeah, I do some 3D modeling. Nice to know my perception and proportions are not crazy. Nah, you were pretty spot on. The thing is, like, I was like looking at the map like every single day, so like naturally I would just get used to seeing like the map be like that and not find it weird. But having like outside perspective is always a great thing. That's why there's a saying, 2 eyes are better than 1 or 2 sets of eyes. You know what the fuck I'm saying. But yeah, it's good to have people, you know, keeping tabs on shit like that. I think I'm gonna go with an outline here. There was a way I actually did this before, and I think it was inside my... Oh yeah, 2 mines. See? My point stands. Udemy courses are good or bad? So it depends. Are you talking about the ones that are in the Discord itself, or are you just saying like Udemy courses in general? Because I think I have like 3 or 4 of them listed in the Unreal Engine 5 resources section, but they're more catered towards like programming. Oh, just like the website in general? Udemy has been pretty good. A lot of the courses that I've used on Udemy have been pretty informative. Taken about maybe 4 of them so far. And like I paid, I think like, I don't know, $15 per course, if that. And I've gotten way more out of them than what I put in financially. I actually had a really good way of doing this in an older project. Inside my horror game, I actually use something like this. Interfaces, interaction interface. Why the fuck am I looking in the actual interface itself? It's not. Yeah, that guy's great. You definitely have to watch his videos at like an increased rate of speed, I'm being honest. But if you don't mind that, then yeah. He talks pretty slow. You put out a new Unreal Engine 5 course for the gas system. Yeah, that's actually what I'm making my game in. I used his course a little bit for learning some things about gas, but a majority of it has been the documentation. This is what I want. Hey, Bean. Yeah, absolutely. No, I 100% agree. But as someone who's watched his videos at 2x speed, like the whole course, it is like so weird hearing him like talk at like the normal speed that he goes. I recommend that one specifically if you have like prior experience with coding. If you're looking to do like the programming side of things, he has like an introductory course to learning programming for Unreal Engine 5. But if he does teach blueprints in that gas system one, then yeah, that might be pretty good too if you're just looking to do blueprints. Very little, only studied C++ for 2 weeks. Yeah, so if your intention is to do it for programming, I might look into his beginner course for C++, but if that's not the... Oh, you want to learn both? It might be good to start with that that intro course into programming then. Oh man, am I able to like show the... Am I able to show that course on stream? I don't think I can, but I don't remember. I think there was only like part of it was like blueprints, but a lot of it that I used or saw at least was in C++. And I don't know if he like teaches the C++ part of it. I think he kind of just like breezes over some things. He's more so like focused on the like the gas framework in and of itself than actually teaching like coding, I believe. Interaction hover. Right now I'm currently just looking for a... What the fuck's the word for it? Some old code that I wrote a long time ago. I guess I say a long time ago. This was like in fucking November. Fuck it. I'll just come up with it. Okay, maybe I should do more C++ studying first. Yeah, he like his course for the C++ stuff might be better. I know I jumped into one of his courses that I think was more so for like creating like an RPG or something, and I had no idea how to code in C++ that well. And it probably doubled the amount of time that I actually needed to complete the course, because I had to like study and do that at the same time. Let's see here. Thing is, this is going to be something that's like called like very, very frequently. I don't want to only copy and paste. Oh yeah, he's not gonna like just like teach you shit to like, you know, that you just like copy and paste from like a GitHub repo or something like that. His other courses actually like teach you step by step. The ones that I have completed are, let me pull it up. Well, I'm looking through like all my fucking bookmarks. So there's like this one, which is the ultimate game developer course. I think I have like half of this done. So this was kind of neat. I have 1.5 years Unity experience and recently started learning Unreal, but I'm having a hard time with Blueprint. But with C++, it's more comfortable for me. Do I really need Blueprint, or it's okay? You really don't need Blueprint like at all. So the only things that I use Blueprint for are for like animation shit. So like, this is my Blueprints folder. Blueprints will allow you to like create variables in C++, and instead of like going back into your code and changing like a variable, like amount or something, like field of view for instance, like I can just freely change this. So it allows you to change variables without having to recompile your code every time. That's like the biggest thing. That's pretty much what I use it for, to be honest. I hear you learn blueprints by using C++ also. Yeah, very true. I mean, the way that blueprints are structured is very similar to how your C++ code actually flows. And I never really focused too hard on blueprints, but just learning like the macros and the way you write Unreal Engine 5 code, it all makes pretty good sense. So you can always learn blueprints later, and then the transition will be easier. Yeah, true. I mean, all the blueprint nodes, and what I mean by nodes is the like kind of like functions that they give you, is all part of the Kismet library. This right here. Every single function inside of this Kismet library. Oh, great. Okay, we're still there. All this shit is all inside C++. So you can use like all the blueprint nodes actually inside your code if you wanted to. I mean, I use the gameplay statics one a lot because they have a metric ton of really useful functions in here. So it's like, this is like all frequently used stuff that you would probably use. So you can use any blueprint nodes you want in your C++ code, and vice versa. If you learn all this in C++, if there's something you're looking for in blueprints, more than likely right here. There was a function I was looking for highlighting. I wonder if I put it in my AI class. I think it was like character outline or something like that. What's making this like harder to look at is the fact that Visual Studio still isn't caught up. So like none of my code is actually correctly colored, which is kind of annoying, but you know, it is what it is. Maybe it's not in there, eh? Alright, real quick. I want my Visual Studio to work, so I'm going to close out of this and reopen it. So we can start working again. One more thing. I use Git for everything, but when I import map assets and make a big map, I cannot push it due to size limit. Any solution? Yeah, so that's a problem with Git. I think you can make a local repository, and I think Git has like a built-in function for Unreal Engine, and I forget how I set it up initially, but it was like I believe it was like some setting when you create it inside Visual Studio that allows you to pick like a preset or something for Unreal Engine 5 game code. Currently I do all the coding and in an empty map with a character because I have size issue. Yeah, a lot of it is like really hard to save. I think I used that preset, and before the preset thing that Git had, there was I think it was like Git large or something like that, where you can upload like very large documents to Git without issues. But that one was probably like years ago that I used. And Visual Studio is just not it today, eh? It is not fucking catching up to anything. Oh yeah, I need to do my overrides for that interface we just added. Whoops. Do that. Where do we need them? We need it in our character. Where's my other interact at? Oh, yeah. We don't need to do that anymore. That's the thing. You need to do it for base equipment. That is true. When we hover equipment, we do want to have text saying equipped or pickup. Thanks. We'll check local repository. Yeah. problem. I mean, hopefully that's the answer. I don't want to give you any false information. But it was a long time ago that I set this up. I was also thinking about making the first like 60 or 70 days of code like available for public use on Git. Mainly because we changed a lot of the code. So I'm not really too concerned about people just like stealing it. I mean, shit, like I do all this live, so. JK. If you did say a joke or something right there, it might have gotten filtered out by YouTube. And I don't even see the filters if they do filter it. Really weird that I'm not allowed to see like messages that get removed automatically. But I know YouTube has like a really sensitive moderation. App generated warnings. Uh-oh. Yeah, there's a couple more things we have to do for the playtest this weekend as well. We actually have to fix the map. You said fake news? Oh my god, wait, YouTube fucking censors the words fake news? Shut the fuck up. There's no way. They really censor that? Dude, what? It's not me trying to do that. I mean, if there's like a setting or something that I like turned on that censors that, that's fucking crazy. Wow. Dude, that is absolutely nuts. Holy shit. Am I allowed to type it? Oh fuck, I don't even want to try. Maybe they ban me. We're in China. I mean, dude, sometimes it feels like it. I mean, the fact that they censor the words fake news, pretty fucking crazy to me. I don't know, man. It feels like freedom of speech is slowly going down the drain. I mean, I could see like, man, I don't want to get into fucking politics and shit. The fuck do I know? I'm a game developer. I don't know. It's their platform. They have the right to do whatever they want. So, just gotta roll with the punches, I guess. Anyways, getting off task. Interaction. Visual Studio eventually will catch up in like 10 years. So for this type of thing, we need to do like a consistent line trace, which we should be doing in our tick. Actually, I don't know if we want to do this in tick. So we could do something where if the character's within like a certain distance of an interaction table, it will grab the character and allow that character to do interaction. I'm just going to create a function for it, and then we can limit it later if it becomes a problem. It's my interact shit. We'll just call this interact hit result. Honestly, we should kind of separate these. Alright, so the whole goal of this is when we hover over an object, we want that object to light up, right? So there's a couple things we need for that. We need the center of our screen. And we can grab that through G-Engine. The fact that this isn't catching up is pretty annoying because I don't remember the exact function, like, name. So we'll do something better here. We'll look for where I'm writing it here. It's actually going to be pretty much like a copy of this toggle interaction thing. I'd only sleep 4 hours. I feel good though, weird. Oh man, it'll come back to bite you eventually during the day. That's how it happens to me at least. So what we have to replace is where we are using our F-hit result. I don't know how I feel about using this. I think I want to create a temporary UI table that we're looking at here. Current is the one that we're like using. Temp should be one that we're looking to use, but not actually currently attached to. I just checked. I'm doing your Unreal Engine 5 C++ Ultimate Game Developer course. Just started 4 to 5 days ago. Currently in section 12, and I skipped landscape section because of get size issue. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I skipped the landscape thing too in the beginning. I just wanted to get the coding, and like the last thing I want to like worry about is the like map and everything. I want to make sure that like my product and like combat and everything looks good before I build like a map to play all this shit on, because building a map is, in my opinion, a little bit easier than coding the game. But I'm glad to hear it. It's not actually like my course, it's just something that I recommended in the Discord because I took it before as well. The guy that actually teaches it, Steven, is pretty cool. We're gonna null this out as well. Shout out to Steven. We also do not want to call interact here. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think we need to do... I don't think we need to pass in the player controller here. We don't need to worry about replication or anything. This is going to be just like a visual effect, the local player. So we can actually get rid of it. Also, F12 is your best friend. Shift F12 is even better, to be honest with you. It allows you to see wherever your code's being used. And holy shit, that's such a fucking awesome feature. Yeah. I wish I could say that I made it, but that guy definitely has a better work ethic than me. At least in making tutorials. Probably in programming too. I think this is the last part that I use this interface in. So this hover effect, I don't think we need to actually cast it to a table. Reason being is the law in programming says that you shall not discriminate against any interface, no matter what it is. So as long as something can be interacted with, you shall interact with it. Keep everything dynamic. Let the workflow of your program be pretty much one-dimensional if you can. Damn, I try to study at work though. Yeah, I mean, like, if it's your passion, you'll find the time to make it happen. Some people definitely have it harder than others. But yeah, I mean, we're in a day and age where, like, you can learn to do anything on the fucking internet. That's crazy. We have a massive advantage over every other generation right now. So this function here is what we would be calling in our tick, but we don't want to call it every frame. And I think what I'm also going to do later is limit it to only happen when we're in a certain range of something that has interaction. Honestly, I'm probably going to do that now. This is protected. Okay, that's fine. I have to clean this up so fucking much. I do security, so I can study easy most days. Do you full-time game dev? Yeah, Yeah, I've been doing full-time game dev for 2 years, year and a half, something like that. But yeah, while I was like working, I was doing studying on the side. And after, I don't know, like a couple of years of like learning programming and shit, I picked up Unreal Engine, and here I am. I started with Java though, which I love Java, even though it's dog shit. Still love it though. It was the first like object-oriented programming that I did. So I want to make a comment here, just reminding myself in the future that this is only going to be something called when we're near like a UI table or something that can be interacted with, because we don't want this like tick function constantly checking or constantly calling this line trace function, especially when it's not needed. You live with parents? No, I've been on my own, or living with my partner for 6 years, 5 years. College? No. Never went to college. Just learned all this shit on my own. Apparently it's only going to be used by UI tables. Doesn't need to be virtual because we're not going to be child classes using that. How do you afford rent? Well, I ran a business for a number of years fixing computers, and I still do that on the side, but not as much as I did before. No, you're fine. I mean, it's not anything crazy. Yeah, I had my own business for about like a decade or so, doing a computer repair. But there's only so many printer problems you can fix before you want to blow your brains out. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on YouTube, but anybody that works in IT, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. Yeah, so we just want to, basically just going to be toggling a boolean. It really sucks that Visual Studio is not caught up yet, so I have to just like manually look all this shit up. With that being said, we now also have to be aware of the player's surroundings. So what we can do is use this collision comp that we made. Well, it's a box component. All right, we're going to change that to something else. Not a capsule, we need a sphere. Believe it or not, a sphere component is actually more performant than a box component. Rider is better. Use cracked one. Ah, man. So like, I talk so much shit on Visual Studio, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just used to it. I just love and hate it. I tried using Rider and I just felt so guilty the whole time. Maybe I'll get over that. Maybe if I do a build, it will stop acting like shit for me and actually show me the colors. Use sphere component. Oh no, I didn't forward declare. There we go. A lot better. Coding tip number 1. I don't care what anybody fucking says. You always forward declare at the top. If I teach like any classes, and somebody does this, I'm kicking them out. I think the worst offender is like, you'll do it like here, skip this, but then you'll like do it here. And then you'll have like a couple of them at the top. Like, you gotta pick a side. I was going to use Rider until I saw the price. Yeah, you're not fucking wrong. I mean, that's why he said he uses the cracked version. I don't know if I'm supposed to advertise for that, but you know, shit ain't cheap around here anymore. Rent's fucking expensive as fuck. You gotta do what you gotta do. Again, I don't condone it, but you know, Pirate Bay still exists. I used to get all my movies from Pirate Bay until Comcast sent me a letter in the mail saying, hey, we know what you're watching. But then I switched from Comcast to Verizon and I haven't gotten mail since. Long story short, fuck Comcast. Alright. That's not working. We'll just compile. I'm sorry, but rent is insane. All the landlords are price fixing currently. They better be sued, hopefully. Yeah, man, affordable housing is a thing of the past. Fucking Christ, like, I paid nearly $2,000 a month in fucking rent. How is some, like, 22-year-old kid just, like, getting a job, like, a junior dev job, supposed to afford fucking rent? When they can't even get a job nowadays, because the web dev environment is just overflooded as fuck. In cybersecurity, I'm sorry to say this, but everybody is saying get a job in cybersecurity or go to school for it, right? This happens with every single programming language and job out there. Everybody will start going to college for cybersecurity. Guess what? 4 years from now, the market's going to be flooded with people looking for cybersecurity jobs. It happened with C++. It happened with JavaScript. That's why there's so many layoffs now. And it's going to happen with cybersecurity in probably 2 years. Just go live in your car. I mean, honestly, you gotta do what you gotta do. You just park it right next to like a Starbucks or something. Get like 2 bars of Wi-Fi and watch videos and 480p on YouTube while you're learning. Watch a documentary on it. I live in California. Yeah, I mean, homelessness is a problem in and of itself, mainly due to how expensive groceries are now and like other basic living expenses. It's crazy. When I first got an apartment, I was paying like maybe like $1,200-$1,300 a month or something, and I thought that was crazy. And now paying like nearly $2,000, it's like, holy shit. And I'm not even in like a really like expensive state to live in, like at all. I can't imagine people in like San Francisco paying like $5,000-$6,000 a month to live in a closet. But it is what it is. Where the hell is my character class at? Okay, so we want to go to our begin play. I'm gonna move this up here because it's just easier to work with. We want to grab the on begin or on components begin overlap and add dynamic, because I think it's multicast. And we're going to call base UI table, and we'll name the function enable player interaction line trace. And then the alternative function is end overlap. We also want to make sure that we can generate overlap events, so these actually get called. Sets generate overlap events. Oh, by the way, if somebody remembers all these functions by heart, you know they've been fucking doing this shit for a while. I don't even think I got these right. But not being able to see like the predetermined list of functions you have available here makes your life a little bit harder. Hey, I set up the local repository and it's working for large files. Hold on, YouTube chat just gets cut off. Shows the warning but commits it locally. Huh. Is it able to push to the main repo on GitHub? HMPH casual. I'm afraid to look up what that means. Are you saying humph? Or is that an acronym for something? Now we gotta make our overlap shit. Ha, got it right. We're gonna F12 right into where this delegate is actually created. And what does this delegate require? Well, we don't need anything here, but we do need to copy and paste all this shit. Come on. And then you can press Control hyphen, which brings you back here. Control KO switches it over to the header file. And now we're going to make our overlap functions, which need to be a U function because we're using the Unreal Engine 5 macro version of delegates. So we're going to call void on begin overlap. The name doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is that you override this. No, not override it. It's not a function. Why did I say that? You just got to remove these commas here. Like that. Sky lights up green because it's happy. Visual Studio finally caught up because now we have color. And now we're going to do the same thing for our on end overlap. Just saying, you know, 1337. I'm gonna get uber fast at coding, 200 words per minute in C++. Code speed run, ultra instinct. Yeah, I usually code with just my pointer fingers. Nothing else. Alright, so for the end overlap, it's a little bit smaller. Only a couple things here. Funny enough, I think the hardest thing for me to learn, maybe this is like an ironic thing, but the way, no, don't do that. The way that collision works in Unreal Engine, for whatever fucking reason, my brain just couldn't register like how that really worked. So I toyed around with it in the editor for like days, and this was like years ago, so I could like really understand like the nuances of it. Do we ever need to worry about the owner being hit? No, because the server will be the owner. OG looks fucking hilarious. Alright. So, one thing I really like to do here is I do like to keep, or have like a bookkeeper here. So I'm going to create a T array of actors, and this is just going to be something called like overlap actors. Thinking ahead, I don't know if we need... No, we are going to need to cast this, so... And better yet, we're actually going to make a T array. If I can fucking spell. I'm gonna make a T array of our base actor or character class. Like that. It's so hard to focus and code in a car. I don't know why. Probably because you're in a car. There's a lot of like distractions going on outside, I would assume. We actually don't need this check because our cast will just fail. Our cast will fail if other actors null, so... We also need to check no, I don't think we need to check that either. I was just thinking if onBegin overlap would ever, for whatever instance, get called again, where we would need to check to see if the character is currently in our overlapped actors array. I don't think so. Could be disable. We actually also need to pass in the character. Wait, what the fuck am I doing? We don't even need these functions, do we? Not really. All right. The reason we're adding overlapped actors here is because we want to, if we have like a level transition or character leaves, anything like that, we want to be able to go over all of the overlapped actors and disable this, because if this does not get disabled and we go to like a different level or something, we do not want this running in tick, and actually shouldn't by default on a level transition. Now that I'm thinking about it, this should never be enabled, but we're just going to do it just in case there's ever an instance where we have to disable everybody's interaction. We just want that power. Enjoy 10 FPS. Am I dropping frames or something? Oh, are you referring to like if this shit just ran on tick? Sorry, the brain fog is pretty bad today. So we want to go over each character here. That. Yeah, no. If you like, so running shit on tick is a very dangerous thing, especially continuously, which is why we're doing all this shit here. These functions can get cut. We don't need them. And I think we are good. Okay, line trace. We're only line tracing to objects that are of type an interaction, and then we're using our interface that we created to trigger interact hover on the object if we are looking at it. I was going to use something called like be hovered, but I don't think we need to do that. Wow, new League of Legends fighting game coming out soon. I swear many indie games run so bad with bad graphics. There has to be something that people forget. I'm shutting off everything on Unreal when I make a mobile game with shitty low poly, low shadows, etc. I want my stuff to run good. Yeah, you can go into Unreal and change the base graphics from Epic to like the lowest shit, and you can actually determine what FPS your editor runs in as well. That's the best way to handle that kind of situation. So right now, we have this interact hover function. We only want this to be running if we're not interacting with a with the UI table. So I mean, we're just gonna get a bool to do that then. To be hovered. As well as be interacting. That. All right, so now we need the actual functionality for the hover effect. We actually might want to use, instead of linear color, no, linear color is fine, because what we're going to do is we're going to use an outline on this static mesh, and we can just make the mesh or the material that's doing the outlining take in a parameter of color and then change that on the fly. So F linear color here, we'll just put this as interact hover color, I guess. This will be a T object pointer of U material. Actually, yeah, U material instance. And then we also need a dynamic material there it is, uMaterial instance dynamic. This is actually how you change parameters at runtime with games using a dynamic instance. I'll make a function here to initialize it too. What is it? It's like U material. I can actually look at the function in here. I actually use this for my death animations and stuff as well, because you can give like your character an effect like they're disintegrating using this kind of shit. So you want to create this material, and then what you want to do is you want to grab your mesh and you want to change the material on it to the dynamic that you just made. Usually it's going to be index 0 for the material as well, but you can double check that in the blueprints. Alright, now that we got this, we actually, the set material, check for a material. Yeah, it does. Okay. So we don't need to worry about that then. So set. So see how now we have functions where it says like set vector parameter value and everything like that. I think it's vector what we're looking for, because vector allows us to pass in a color. This is a vector 4 though. Can we give a vector 3? No, we can actually just pass in a linear color, so we're good. Parameter name. Probably just going to call this color. Then we just pass in this interact hover color. Now another trick we can do is we can actually grab the default color here, or just set the default color before we change this. So before we actually change this here, we'll probably grab it on begin play. And the reason we're doing it this way, so we don't have to manually go into blueprints and change this every single time. Begin play is like your best friend for having default variables on actors that you need to change during runtime, and then reset during like round end or you know, pretty much whenever you want. So for default color, actually going to be doing this initialize before this. We can grab it. With that being said, we actually can just move this into our initialize then. So I don't have any of this material written up, by the way. I'm kind of just creating all this on the fly. So if you see me backtrack on a couple things that I'm doing, it's more so that I'm thinking a little bit ahead, just to make my life a little bit easier. We don't want scalar, we want get vector parameter value. And we want to grab our fname color. What else does this need? Oh, perfect. It actually just takes in a reference. So if we pass in default color here, it'll give us what we need. like that. Nice. All right. What's next here? What do we got to think about? We don't want this to run or interacting. So actually that will just be an early escape, what we call it. But then we also want to, like, I'm just thinking here because we don't want this to get called like a ton of times. An issue with IntelliSense was detected on this file. No way. Is that why it took like 2 hours to fucking load? Probably. Alright, so my thought process here is we can have interact hover, which triggers as we are glancing over or like looking at the target. And then we can create something called stop interact hover, which gets triggered when we stop looking at it. Now, there might be another way to do this where we no, I was going to say we can return something, like for instance, like we return like this UI table that we're looking at, and then we just keep doing this line trace over and over again. And if the thing that we're currently looking at isn't what this returned, then it will disable the hover effect on this actor. But the thing is, with an interface, you don't want it to be linear like this, because what's going to happen is when we go to do this, well, we could have 10 different actors of different types that are using this interact hover function, right? And what that will basically force us to do in the long run is just do a ton of casting to see if the object that we're interacting with is of any of these types. And we don't want to do that. We just want to call this function to the object through this interface and not have to worry about it. So we can just create a function here called stop interact hover. And the reason we're doing equals 0 is this basically means pure virtual, meaning we do not have to initialize this function inside the CPP file. We're basically saying, hey, skip the parent class, go to the classes that inherit this, and check there. So now we just got to go to all the classes that use our interact system and just add this function in. Copy it here. Oh, Visual Studio. Sometimes make me wish I wasn't as poor as I am so I could break my keyboard. But it knows I can't afford a new one, so that's why it decides to fuck with me all the time. Also, is there even fucking music playing? Okay. I was just thinking in my head, wait, why the fuck did I implement our interaction interface onto our character? The reason I did that is when we kill another player, we're able to like loot their body, which is why I did that. But that's going to be something in the way later down the line. That's after we get equipment implemented. Okay, we got that. Got the character done. So we're actually going to need that bull again. It's not going to be interacting, it's going to be hovering. I might turn this into like something of like an enum, but we'll worry about that at a later date. All right, so now what we want to do here is basically do this. We actually want to save this interaction to be used as a reference. And what I mean by that is we're essentially going to look and see if the current thing that we're line tracing to matches the previous thing that we looked at. And if it doesn't, that then we know that we stopped hovering the last target or the last actor. We're going to name this previous interaction. Actually, just name it previous interact hover actor. Also set this as a U property here. U property, among other things, will automatically set this as a null pointer for us. So if we were ever to do like a check like this, our editor would not crash. So in here, we are going to first make sure that this is not null. And if it's not, we're going to check and see if it matches this. Actually, if it does not match, hold on, let me think about this for a second. So if the previous interaction hover actor does not match the current thing we're looking at, we're going to grab the current thing we're looking at, and we're going to activate the hover effect. Before we do that, sorry, just thinking ahead. Before we do that, we want to stop the interaction hover of the previous. One thing I actually haven't tried before is saving a class like this. I'm gonna try this out actually. Is this possible? In theory, yes, it should. Okay. I wonder if this works this way. So what we're doing is, when we're doing this line trace to see what we're hovering right now to activate the hover effect, we're looking to see if we have a previous actor that we were hovering. And if we do, and it's not equal to the current thing we're looking at, then we're going to stop the interact hover on the old thing, start it on the new thing, and then have the previous interact hover equal to this. The else statement here would be this right here, yeah? We need an else statement. Man, my brain fog right now. I don't think we do. But we also don't want to keep like calling this over and over again. So this is actually where we would do this part here. Move this out of the way. My logic might not be correct in doing it this way. But this is how you problem solve. You create your first instance of a solution that you think would work, and you build on it with better solutions in the future. We're seeing if we have a previous hover actor. We do, and it's equal to the current thing that we're trying to interact with, going to return. If it's different, then we're going to stop the interaction and continue on here. Actually, now that I think about it, right? Before we do this, we can actually do an else if, not with all that shit. If we don't have a blocking hit, right? And this is actually active, we want to make sure that we clear this. Like that. What do we got? See? This is what I was thinking about. Maybe you can't store it like that. So I mean, like, worst case scenario, we just have to do a recast of it. Not the end of the world. Kind of annoying. This is one of the, like, the nuanced things that you just, like, learn about. I've used interfaces many times, but I've never tried to do this before, and I just didn't know if this worked this way or not. Yeah, exactly. That's fine. So oh, this hurts my soul. How would we do this? We'll only cast where necessary. Oh, pointer. I was looking at that like, what the fuck did I do wrong? But what we're going to store here, instead, if I can highlight the whole thing, is this. And same deal down here, where we basically just do all this shit. God, that looks ugly, doesn't it? But it's functional. And the best part is we could just do this. Live coding strikes again. What do we got? Uh-oh. Core engine failure. From my UI table. Yeah, so when you see like gen.cpp, it means live coding just said, fuck it, I'm out. Actually, while this is compiling, grab some water. Right. So, we have our overlaps, or we have our delegates for the overlaps complete. What we have to do now is go to our map, and now we have to set the collision, or the actual like radius of collision. Ah, shit, our actors got reset. I was wondering where they disappeared to. Well, shit, that sucks. So this guy's the actual interactable object here, right? I have some of these not connected to the root component for a reason I cannot remember. Okay, that's good enough. Camera location. This is the one that's actually going to be really annoying. Is the way I have these interactions set up is the camera gets detached from your player, be put into like a very specific position to where like you can see this board in the back. I can't remember the exact placement of this camera. So having this reset kind of hurts my soul because that means I gotta figure that out again. Where's our class trees at? There it is. Shit. I think the scale on these is a little too big as well. I think I had these at like 0.75 before. That's good enough. So the reason we did that is mainly for this guy here. This collision oh, wait a minute. Did I break my blueprints by live coding this into play? I did. This is why live coding sucks ass. So this is now what we have to do to fix this problem. Oh man. Okay. Oh. You have to go back in. This table collision comp, you're actually going to change to call it UI table collision comp. And we got to change this now to something different. I think I changed everything. So before you say anything, when you break something like this, and like in blueprints, the thing that you were messing with in C++ and compiling to with live coding, if it doesn't show up in blueprints anymore, like you can't see the parameters or edit anything, I have not found a way yet, even regenerating the UE5 pre-generated code to actually like fix this. It's really weird. And if anybody had an answer to it, I would definitely be interested in learning how to resolve that without having to recreate certain properties. Yeah, very cool. Unless I completely bricked my thing where I need to recreate the blueprint entirely. No, I think we're good. Wait, is this edit defaults only? It is. Okay. Well, we don't want that. We need edit anywhere on this. And actually, we're going to do it for this as well. Default color we don't touch. We don't care about that. The reason we need edit anywhere is because the radius of this collision needs to be scaled in the world so I can get a good idea on how big it needs to be. Edit defaults only does not allow you to do that. So we're going to get this hover effect working. We're going to create the material for it, create some parameters in the material as well. Just get this feature up and running, and just test it out a little bit. Now I should be able to edit my collision. Fucker, not. Native components are editable when declared as F property in C++. Are you going to take me to a link? could have sworn that I was able to do edits. Let me try something real quick here. Where is my interactions? Yeah, I am. It's just this one that I'm not able to. Alright, well, this one is much bugged. What I'm going to do is just copy the properties over to the working now, and we move on. The rotation 1, UI camera detach rotation. Over any other properties that were missing? No, these own thing. What I do want to grab is the location of this though. We will use it. Bye so long. Hello Amanda, how are you? I actually don't know if we changed the rotation on this. We'll find out in a second. I think this one's also broken. Actually, sorta, kinda, but I'm actually able to edit the sphere radius here. But just to be safe. Damn. Table mesh, blah, blah. That's good. Oh, stored UI, very important actually. Lobby menu. So the stored UI thing is we use a widget component, right, to bring up our the UI or the 3D UI. And if we did not have this stored UI set, it actually would not do anything. It would just be kind of stuck. It's not great. So this table mesh location, I'm gonna copy that here. We're going to grab the camera location. I'm going to delete this and set that to world space. Paste this into world space. Flip the yaw 180. Okay. Now For the sphere radius, probably like maybe 600. That should be fine. What this sphere radius is doing is it's dictating if the player is able to use a line trace or not. We basically have this regulating a variable in the player's tick, where if the player comes within a certain radius, it will enable a continuous line trace to happen during tick. And what that line trace will do is it'll allow it to essentially hover over this. And when it does hover over it, it will basically draw up an outline or light it up. That's what we're doing. And then when the player walks out of it, it turns that tick off. So it's just something to regulate or help with performance more than anything else. Because we don't need a continuous line trace like that happening unless the player's near something that is able to be interacted with. Okay. I think the only thing we need to do here is create the material. The way we're going to do that is I'm going to grab this. I'm going to create a new material from this here with parameters that we can change. I think I might have a color parameter, but we'll make one just for UI stuff. I already do. Literally called color as well. That's funny. This is just like a super basic material. Nothing too crazy going on here. We could also change glow and possibly mess with that. Christ. Blinding. I don't think we need anything that intense. So this is the default. I mean, making it a different color would probably be the move. Actually, I might do this one as like a yellow, and then this one as like a purple. Let me hover over it. I'll just turn this into a material instance. Actually, no. I don't even think we need to change the parent on this. Actually, get rid of this. Alright, let's test this out. My keyboard didn't work for a second. I legitimately thought our game crashed. So we know that our line trace is working. And we know it's getting shut off. I believe. Clear this. Okay, so this is the collision right here. I'm gonna look directly at this fucking thing. Okay, so we know that that side of it works. The problem we have, a couple things, and it's something that I didn't think about originally, but it makes sense. When we stop interacting, where is our... When we stop interacting, we want to reset some values. Like for instance, this will never be in effect. So we want to disable any hover effects right here. Let's see if the material on this actually got changed. So this should be, okay, so we have our material instance dynamic set. So we know our initialize worked. Color is the parameter value. Now this should be changing to a green color. So just for reference on what that would look like, should be doing that. But it currently is not doing that. Another thing that we want to reset is probably, where is it at? Scrolling through like 3,000 lines of code. This right here. So when this gets changed, we also want to do that as well. Oh, wait a minute. For interact hover, yeah, that's funny. The reason it's not doing it is because I never called the fucking function. Whoops. Now it should work. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Feels good to get back into coding. I've been doing that fucking map shit for 3 weeks now. But I am making a video on that, going over the map design and creating the features for it as well. So that'll be pretty cool. All right, do we have life? We do. And it also shuts off the tick function when we get out of range. Good shit. Now, we can make this even better, because this is some rookie level effects that we have going on. Let's step it up a notch. We're gonna add some interpolation to this. Make it look a little bit smoother, because right now it's pretty jagged with how we're just cutting in and out of a certain color. So I actually have something I want to copy over here. Timeline component isn't actually too bad. I think I can do the include here. What is the include? Oh, it just wasn't showing up. Okay, no, it was components. I typed in component. All right. So we're going to be using the timeline component. What this will allow us to do is dictate interpolation with curves. Goddamn IntelliSense. So we don't need to attach this to anything because it's not really something that's a scene component. It's kind of something that just does a little bit of a functionality for us, I guess. It's been a long while. I'll send you an image of the water. Check it out soon. Yeah, send that over. How are you doing, by the way? I know you guys had some pretty bad floods. Visual Studio is like having a heart attack right now. So this is the shit that we need right here. Visual Studio crashed. Oh no, it didn't. Okay. The fuck? It was really weird. I might have to close and reopen it though, because it is like bricking pretty bad. How's the dog? He's doing a bit better. Still looks incredibly sad. I'm gonna close this and reopen it. What is going on? Well, can you walk? He needs your care. Trust me, I'm taking care of him. And at least hug him every 10 minutes. Yeah, I mean, he's doing a lot better. He's able to walk and stuff now, and he's like trotting around, or at least trying to. This is not good, guys. That is super concerning. The worst thing you can do is actually just end task when it's trying to unload a project. That's how you get your shit corrupted. Okay, we're good. What a weird thing to happen. Oh no, he's able to walk now. He's just not able to run as fast as he wants to. All right. So for this timeline comp, you actually need to create a function that takes in a float, I believe. Or actually, no. In this case, it's going to take in a linear color for interpolation. I will just put a interp hover effect, taking an F linear color. Be a const reference. Yeah, trust me, I got it under control. It's a slow and steady process. Can't jump him back into it. You know what I mean? I'm also definitely stealing some functions from my other file that I used for the bridge mechanic on the map that we made. Yeah, you can see it there. Ice Canyon Bridge. You know, I'm actually surprised that this is not like a reference or anything. Let me actually look into the delegate that uses this shit. Yeah, literally. Just that. Okay. My hat looks like elephant poop. Is that what you're saying? Well, you're just not a fan of the team then. Alright, so we're basically going to be just doing this. Inside that function here. Like so. New curve linear color. Yeah, so this is where we're gonna set the base color and then the ending color. And what we're going to do here is just call reverse. I don't even know if we need to check for that here. We do need to check for it here. Close out of this guy. Recompile. And at the end of the day, we should be able to interpolate over this color. I'll send you the image sent. Alright, I'll check it out at the end of the stream. How is it right now, though? we got? Ooh, we got a warning. Please use detach from component instead. I don't remember creating this, but I probably did. What is it telling me to do? Detach from component? Any parameters? No, just detachables. I sent water pics. That could be taken many different ways. And at the end of the day, oh, and pictures at the end of the day as well. It's night currently. Did your house get flooded? Now we need to set the curves. You know, now that I think about it, did I even make those a U property? I did. They're in material. Here they are. Okay. We have a couple of them, but we want to create our own. So we want to make a curve, wants to be a linear color. This would be for the flash tree by and we have another one for the warboard. Flash tree starts out here, then ends up here. I'll mess with the actual interpolation and like the curves and shit. I know it's linear. Go for this. Do not have this color set, so let's do that. No, not that level of flood. My area, some floods, yes. Some 2-floor houses were flooded. My whole, were flooded in my whole area, and 75% of the country was only some areas of the road flooded, and a lot of erosion. There was so much erosion that around. Wait, there was so much erosion around. That is, sorry, that sentence is fucking me up. Ground broke in half due to it. My area was 3 inches on a normal road. Okay, but it sounds like you didn't get hit too bad, luckily. I'm gonna set this color. Open this up. Get in. Oh shit, we already do it. Drag it out. Right here. And we can more of like a pink than it is anything else. Just try that. See how it looks. Set that. Go over here and then set this one. Now we should have interpolation. But a road with a downward and upward slope built up water. It had 3 feet of water in it. Oh shit, yeah. I didn't think about that part of it. So the interpolation's a bit too slow. We can just adjust that on the curve itself. It is working though. That one darkens up just a little bit, so we'll just mess with the values on it. Move it down to like half a second. See what it looks like. I think it straight up needs to be like 1/4 of a second. Yeah, that delay is like so long. So the cool thing about like using a timeline component for this is A, interpolation, but B, when you actually use it like this, you can use a function called reverse, which allows you to basically just swipe off of it really quick, and it will pause where it's currently trying to interp to, and then just go back. So you don't have like kind of like jump cuts of like color and shit. It'll just smoothly transition back and forth depending on if you're looking at it or not. This is something else we have to fix. Yeah, the position of the camera is something we gotta move. You can tell it's like super off center right now. But our interactive UI works. The only other piece of UI that I need to turn 3D is our attribute system. And I'm still trying to work out the logistics of how we're going to do that, so I don't know if it's going to make this playtest coming up this weekend. But one thing I definitely have to fix is map selection. And then I have to have the map actually pop up on this plane here. See, Mike, the first update was like 1/3 less dark and saturated than the images I sent. Okay, I'll keep that in mind when I'm looking at it. Everyone you know on okay? Well, the most important thing. Yeah, this is just like slightly off center. I think it looks good though. I think the only other thing that I would add would be like a piece of UI text or something that pops up on the player's screen saying like press F to interact. Something like that. Which, I mean, we probably can do that. I don't think I have much UI active during the lobby phase of the game though. It's crazy what can happen from a tub of water. I don't know about that one, Chief. Yeah, so the camera's off like really bad there actually. We had this at like -9 or something before. You know, one thing I haven't added to the game yet is footsteps. Yeah, so the camera's off on the Z-axis. It's not far enough in. So this needs to go to like -28, probably up. We'll put 67. Try it out. Yeah, it is pretty crazy though. I'm glad you're okay though. Yeah, you're not wrong. Still off on the Z-axis a little bit. Do a +8. By macro I mean like barely big enough to see. Oh, okay, so like micro then. Shit. Yeah, man, changing that changing the actual sphere or root component of these blueprint items and live coding basically just shot myself in the foot. I had the positions pretty much like dialed in, and it's been so long since I've messed with them, trying to remember like the exact placement. Killing me. I mean, we're getting a lot closer though. It's negative 51. This is the last attempt that I'm going to give here, then we're going to move on to the next part. Damn, only a couple off. I'm just going to move it back, but I'm not actually going to test it right now. Give it like a +6. Call it there. Alright, now we got to get into combat testing. Those shrimp are like a grain sand big. I barely big enough, like shrimp the size. Oh, okay. By barely big enough, it's like shrimp the size of a grain of sand. You could see it with your eyes, but it's very, very tiny. Sounds like you got an aquarium down there. Jesus. All good there. So for combat, basically just got to test the abilities here. I think I found 2 that were just like crazy. And I think that has to do with the class trees. As I think I, oh, that's spell tree. Yeah, okay. So the way like these like class trees work is they're pretty dynamic in a sense that like I can select like, I basically create like a system that allows me to generate a class tree for any class that I make in the future within about like 10 minutes. And all I have to do is put the name in, select what it does, what type of effect does it have on the ability. So does it increase like the duration of like a dot effect? Does it increase like the frequency of like a dot effect? The range of the ability, the radius, and then the effect is essentially the damage, but effects could also be healing. And then the modifier type, is it a multiply? Is it an add? Is it an override? So I can just generate any amount of like passives I want pretty quickly. So it's going to make the workflow for creating classes a lot easier. Not mine. It's a dude who left water for 1.5 years already. Holy shit. A long ass time. Let's head to the arena here and test this out. the volume just a little bit because I know like the crowd noise in the arena just gets like a little crazy. I just want to see what abilities are broken with the new combat system that was created recently, so we can fix them. So, no, this works. No fireball works. That was interesting. Does teleport work? Teleport works. Cyclone, does that work? Does. Okay, pressurized does not. Pretty sure this doesn't either. That shouldn't. Yeah, so a lot of the Tempest abilities are broken, but for good reason. Basically any like target actor abilities where like you place something on the ground are not going to work correctly. And the reason being is because before, the abilities here where you're actually like putting them down like this, they used to be instant, no delay. They would just happen at that location. That felt really fucking bad. So now what we did is we changed that from an instant cast, instant location to slightly instant cast, but it's projectile based. So the projectile goes to location and then goes off. And I just noticed another bug where certain things, okay, yeah, it's not having collision on certain parts. That's okay, we'll fix that, which is what we're here to do today. Now this way of doing it solved two major things. One, it allows counterplay. That's really big. Having like a delay like this, whether it be like a second or two, allows for players to avoid the projectile or the ability. And two, is actually something that we never considered in the beginning, but it became a huge issue later on in development. If you've ever played a game like League or Smite, you know that that's like sky view and third person view, right? So that was a really fucking weird bug. Anyways, you know that placing abilities is pretty easy because the angle that you're actually looking at the map is elevated. So like a further distance like this, it's really easy to pinpoint where an ability is going to go when you have like a higher view of the surrounding area. When you're in first person, it is much harder. The reason being is because as distance increases, the actual amount of space you have to target on the ground correctly decreases. So, for instance, this ability, which is an instant cast, right, not projectile based, when I try to put this around me within like 10-15 feet or whatever, it's pretty easy. I can do it accurately. When you move it out to here, when you move just a centimeter on your screen, this thing jumps like 10 feet. That just feels terrible. It's really hard to pinpoint like the location of where you want this to spawn. Having a projectile based system kind of solves this issue because of curves. Projectiles are affected by gravity. So if you notice, my mouse cursor isn't pinpoint on like the ground where it's actually going to land. I have to slightly elevate it, and what this will do is it'll interpolate the actual final destination of this ability based on me lifting this up. So I can more accurately place this ability. Got a shower, see ya. Also, Mike, are you dyslexic? Because you have a hard time reading these comments, see ya. No, I don't think I'm dyslexic. I think I'm just talking, my guy. But yeah, whenever you're making something first person and it involves spells, I would take that into consideration. Using projectiles is a really good way to do it, from what we've seen. And even if you're not using projectiles, one thing that we also tested out was before, with this like instant like placement like this, we were actually going to use a similar strategy of using a curve that would do the same thing the projectile was doing. It wouldn't depend on the exact point that you're placing it down. It would more so depend on your cursor. So when you lift it up, it will slowly move the actual placement on the ground for you. It basically just gives you an increase of like 20 to 30% more retail space on placing the ability down, which is huge, because that means you're going to be 20 to 30% more accurate when landing your abilities. If this was third person, we would more than likely never have to worry about it, just because that massive change in angle would just make it pointless. Yeah, so there's a list of abilities that we have to fix. I think they're basically all Tempest abilities. So it's more so a matter of fact of just going in and converting them all. I think Tempest is my favorite class that we've made so far, mainly because the whole basis of the class is just air manipulation. So like Pressurize puts down basically like a sphere that pulls things into the center. Zephyr is something that actually spawns a gust of air from the ground and it shoots players into the air. Hurricane is basically something that's like essentially like a growing sphere on the ground that slows players on the inside and damages them. Gale is like the opposite of Pressurize. You're basically just essentially combusting. You're just blowing air out from every direction from the center of the player. So this is all about just like manipulating player direction. Is it annoying as shit to play against? Oh yeah, but that's fun. Are we going to change it later? Probably. But during the playtest this weekend, we're not changing shit. Yeah. So it's been a minute since we've actually been into the functions or the actual blueprints themselves. But I believe what I need to do now is change all of these to a different parent class. Which I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if this is something that you'd want to watch on stream. So honestly, I might call it here for today. But with that being said, I'm actually going to be scheduling streams now. So I'm going to have an actual schedule for this stuff, and I'll be prepared in the mornings to have a list of stuff we have to do. Hopefully not shit like this, because this is going to be super tedious. Not going to lie. So with that being said, we've gone about 4 hours today. I'm going to be back tomorrow, 11:30. I'm going to set the schedule of the stream and everything on YouTube as well, so you can get notified if you want to stop by. Tomorrow we're going to be doing combat testing. We have 3 new abilities that we have to create. I got to come up with them. Following day, we got to make passives. So a lot of stuff to do before the weekend. Hopefully we can hit the deadline. And yeah, we'll go from there. But yeah, with that being said, wherever you are, morning, evening, afternoon, night, have a great rest of your day or night again. And till tomorrow. Peace.